Hey there guys, and thank you so much for joining me as we talk some movie news. So in this episode of Review Flicks, we're going to be talking about the Rotten Tomatoes score and the reviews for Madam Web. And well, it looks like a bit of a dumpster fire, but that's no surprise, you know, with all the kind of negative feedback that's going on around this movie. Yesterday, we checked out the early fan reactions on Twitter. So check out that video if you're interested in reading those early fan reactions, because they're quite shocking in some of the things that they say about this movie. But let's go down, let's have a read of this article, let's check out the Rotten Tomatoes reviews, and we have an interview from Dakota Johnson as well, and apparently she doesn't know anything about any of the Tom Holland Spider-Man films, which is quite shocking. So, we have a picture here, who's Spider-Man? 18% Rotten Tomatoes as of this video. It could fluctuate in the next few days, but I don't think it's going to shift that much from that score. So, Dakota Johnson, star of Madam Web, unable to recall Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies as Rotten Tomatoes score falls to 18%. 18%, that's so bad. I can't believe how bad this movie's done. Like, it's going to hurt the superhero genre overall when it comes to the movies, and it's done such bad damage to Sony's movie properties. You know, people are going to lose faith in all of the Sony movies coming forward. You know, we've got Kraven and Venom 3, and people are just going to lack faith after this movie to go and watch those. And we'll have to see how they do, but it's not looking good. So anyway, let's dive into this. So Madam Web's Rotten Tomatoes score is plummeting following the lifting of the review embargo, now inching closer to Morbius at 15%. Meanwhile, Dakota Johnson's promotion of the film raises eyebrows. Perhaps it's time to dial it back. So two things we can take from this. So closer to Morbius. Morbius was at 15, and this one is now at 18, Madam Web. And they didn't release the review embargo until the day before the movie, which tells you that the studio has no faith in this movie. They didn't want to release, the review embargo a week or 2 weeks before. They didn't want bad, word of mouth getting out. They knew this movie was bad, and they wanted to hold off on those reviews getting out until the day before the movie. So if the movie, if the studio has no faith in their own movie, why should we? And, Dakota Johnson's promotion of the film raises eyebrows. We're going to go down and check out a small video interview clip where she was being asked about Tom Holland's Spider-Man films, and she didn't have a clue about anything to do with any of the movies, which is quite shocking considering she's in a Spider-Verse spin-off movie. But yeah, so here we have Rotten Tomatoes score, 18% on the tomato meter. We don't have any audience score as of yet. This is from 85 reviews. So let's have a quick read of some of these reviews before we go on to that interview clip. So there is something sickly compelling about how disjointed and thoroughly incompetent Madam Web is. Less as so bad it's fun, midnight movie, and more studio filmmaking in the 2020s as its very worst case study. So, for much of Madam Web, even when it turns bad, it's a pleasure to see Johnson in this kind of movie. So there's like one small kind of redeeming feature, the fact that this guy obviously likes Dakota Johnson, and he likes seeing her in this movie. But other than that, he doesn't say anything good about any other part of the movie. So, yeah. Madam Web argues that no one's future is written, but it is very easy to see exactly where this film is going. Yeah, paint by numbers, generic, bland movie that we've seen 100 times over. It's probably, I haven't seen the movie for myself, so I have to say that outright. But it seems to be a paint by numbers, movie that people could guess where it was going from the beginning. So, is Madam Web a good movie? No. It is hilariously delightful often. So it's not a good movie, but it's hilarious, apparently. Whether that's a good hilarious, as in the movie's really bad, so it's funny, or if it's actually intentionally funny, not really sure. But they've only given it a 2 out of 4, so they obviously thought the movie was average at best. So let's go on to the next ones. If you could see ahead, like Madam Web, you might fix your future by waiting to see this on streaming. Yeah, I think that's what the majority of people are going to do. That's what they did with the Marvels. When superhero genre has got to the point now where the movies are so mundane and they're paint by numbers, people have signed up to streaming services. Why am I going to go and pay loads of money to watch a movie in theaters? It's not exactly cheap. Why not just wait until it comes on streaming and I can watch it then? So, oddly enough, the most fascinating thing about this movie is its Pepsi product placement. So someone obviously got bored of the movie, and as they were watching it, they were just thinking, right, Pepsi placements in this movie, let's try and spot how many Pepsi product placements we can find. And they probably had a little game with themselves to try and spot them, which was probably more interesting than actually watching the movie itself. So it's bad and boring, and in addition to making very little sense. yeah, I mean, if the narrative of the movie just collapses and doesn't make sense, then it's kind of hard to save the movie, especially if it's bad and boring at the same time. So, Madam Web is lifeless with absolutely zero depth of character. It feels like a tax write-off. Yeah, I mean, I was watching the John Campea show this morning, and he said the exact same thing. He said, you know when DC, they wrote off the Batgirl movie as a tax write-off because they knew how bad it was, and they didn't want to release it. They didn't want to hurt their overall brand of DC. You know, Madam Web, they should have done the exact same thing with this movie. They knew it was bad. They knew that this movie was going to suck. Like I said, they held the review embargo till the day before the movie, which tells you everything you need to know. They didn't want bad word of mouth getting out. They didn't bother putting, 2 or 3 trailers. There was only 1 trailer. And they should have just, not released the movie. They should have just done it as a tax write-off, because now they're going to hurt their brand, and people are going to lack faith in going to watch, Venom 3 and Kraven. So there's no heart or ambition in the performances. The villain, Ezekiel, is probably the worst part of the movie. A robot could have given a better performance. Wow, that's a really big dig on the actor's performance. That's really bad. You've got one more page here, guys. So you don't have to be a clairvoyant to foresee a genre even more fatigued after this poisonous bite. Full review in span. Yeah, that's the thing. The superhero fatigue is a massive thing that we've been talking about over the last year or so. Is it a real thing? Are people actually fed up with superhero genre in general, or are they just fatigued with, the mundane kind of boring version of superhero movies? If they actually generate a good superhero movie, then people won't be bored of it. Deadpool 3 has just come out, the most viewed trailer of all time. And that goes to tell you that the superhero genre is not dead. If you make a decent movie and you have decent marketing, people will flock to it. But this movie had none of it, and it's just completely derivative, and people just want to wash their hands of it. So, all logic and reason disappears shortly after this film begins. Too many cringe moments and are laughably bad. The villain makes it harder on himself with every step he takes. This is nothing more than a boring Spider-Man tease, desperate for attention. Yeah, I mean, making Spider-Man spin-off movies without actually having Spider-Man in there himself is hard enough, in it of itself. But it looks like Sony, man, they're just plunging their IP into the ground. They've done it with Morbius. They've done it with, Venom 2, you could say. And it looks like they've done it again with Madam Web. And if Kraven comes out and bombs as well, then Jesus, man, we're in for some trouble when it comes to Sony movies, that's for sure. So, Madam Web proves it's not enough to throw all the expected set pieces in a movie. You actually need to know what to do with them. Yeah, so they just kind of, we'll take some of this, we'll take some of this, we'll take some of this, we'll throw it into a glass, we'll mix it together, and we'll see what it spits out. And apparently it didn't spit out a very good recipe. So, a clumsy origin story, sloppily constructed, illogical even by very loose comic book standards, a confusing, pointless, and even worse dull introduction of a less than super characters. Yeah, like I said, they should have done a tax write-off. They shouldn't have released it, because this movie is going to hurt their overall brand, and it's going to dissuade people from going on to watch more Sony superhero movies, and it's going to hurt the genre as a whole, like I keep saying. It's really, really bad. It's a shame. I don't want any movies to fail, and I really hope this could succeed, but they've just not done themselves any favor. But that's kind of some of the reviews. If you want to read more, guys, just go on to Rotten Tomatoes. There's like 80 plus reviews, so you can read more of them if you want to. So, Madam Web's Rotten Tomatoes score has taken a significant hit, dropping to 18% as of this video. It could have changed if you're watching this video at a later date, so just bear that in mind. If you're reading it at a later date into the future, the score could have changed. But like I say, I don't think it's going to fluctuate, more than what it is at now. So, based on 85 reviews, after briefly matching Morbius at 15% overnight, critics are pulling no punches with their assessment of the Marvel movie, leading many to speculate whether it will follow Morbius as a one-off feature with its characters unlikely to resurface. I mean, how would you get there? This is going to be one of the biggest bombs in superhero movie history. Why on earth would any of these characters want to resurface later down the line? It's just, why would you do it? It's just, Sony need to reboot their Spider spin-off first by the look of it, because it's just terrible at the moment. So, questions linger over Sony's ability to succeed in producing standalone live-action Marvel projects without the support of Marvel Studios. That's not true, though, because, some of the best Spider-Man films ever made have been Sony. Spider-Man 2, across, the Spider-Man animated movies that they've been making as well have been absolutely incredible, and they've been Sony projects. So, Dakota Johnson's promotional efforts for Madam Web also attracted the attention for all the wrong reasons. So this is where we get into the meat and potatoes. I watched this clip this morning. I have to say, I've already seen it. But when I saw this, I was absolutely dumbfounded about the fact that she has no idea about any of the Spider-Man films. She doesn't even know the title of the movies. That's how bad this is. You know, you would have thought as an actress being in the Spider-Verse, you know, spin-off movies, that you would have at least know the titles of the Spider-Man films. And it just blew my mind. But guys, we're going to jump into this clip. Let's have a quick look and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Can you name the 3 Spider-Man Tom Holland movies?
Yeah.
Should I just go on faith?
Yeah.
Oh.
Spider-Man, here he comes.
Here he comes.
That's number 1.
Yep.
Spider-Man, and he's back. And the other one, the last one is the Goblet of Spider-Man.
You see what I mean, guys? I have no idea what I just watched. Like, what is even going on? The fact, like, is she playing dumb on purpose? Like, is she actually doing this on purpose? Or is she generally not have a clue about even the titles of those movies? Which is absolutely incredible. Like, don't get me wrong, she's an actress. I don't expect her to be a historian on the Spider-Man franchise. I don't expect her to know, you know, all the intricate details about all the character motivations and the plots and everything about that. Because, you know, even the hardcore fans, some of them don't know. But to be involved in the Spider-Verse, to even know the names of the Spider-Man films, that's just the most basic kind of tenet of, you know, being connected to the Spider-Verse. And it's just, I just don't even know what to say. Like, this interview just blew my mind. It's absolutely crazy. And what is going on? It's just shocking beyond belief. So, Dakota Johnson knows the Spider-Man movie trivia. What a nerd. Spider-Man, he's back, and Spider-Man, the Goblet of Fire. Like, my mind is just, I don't even know anymore, guys. So, Johnson's recent mishaps for criticizing the film industry to failing, let me start that again. Johnson's recent mishaps from criticizing the film industry to failing to name Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies have raised concerns among comic book fans about her commitment to the Marvel Universe. In an interview with comicbook.com, Johnson appeared indifferent about the possibility of crossing paths with Spider-Man on screen, further fueling doubts. Yeah, she doesn't care. She's only there for a paycheck. She doesn't care about the character. She doesn't care about the movie. You know, she just doesn't care about it whatsoever. Like I said, she doesn't even know the basic tenets. She doesn't even know, you know, the Spider-Man movie names or movie titles. And it's just, you know, it's just complete, blatant, obvious that she just doesn't care. You know, just wants to show up, do the minimal amount of work. You know, I'll take the paycheck, see you later. Doesn't care. And that's part of the reason why the movie's failed, because we have actresses and actors in the movie who just don't care about any of the material, and it's just soulless, it's lifeless, and you know, the fans can see right through it, and the fans, you know, if the actors don't care, then why should we as the fans care, you know? And the studio doesn't care as well, obviously, so, you know. Despite Sony's hopes to bolster the box office numbers with a Wednesday opening, Madam Web is anticipated to perform poorly. Looking ahead, Kraven the Hunter and Venom 3 are next in Sony's lineup. Like I said, you know, based on this movie, the people that do go and watch this movie, which by the look of the projections isn't going to be a lot of people, but all of the negative news surrounding this Madam Web movie, when Kraven the Hunter pops up and the marketing starts, a lot of people are just going to be thinking, you know, what they did with Madam Web was absolute just nonsense, just absolute trivial trash, garbage, you know, and they didn't have any faith in that movie. So why should we have any faith to go and watch Kraven the Hunter? You know, you fooled us once, you're not going to fool us twice. Why are we going to support Sony with our hard-earned money when you give us this trash Madam Web movie, and then we're expected to go out and pay again to watch Kraven the Hunter, which is, you know, probably going to be trash again coming from Sony. I hope it's not. I really do hope it's not, but it's not looking good. So yeah, guys, that's kind of where we are on Madam Web at the moment. The fact that this interview just showed the fact that the actress didn't even know the names of the Spider-Man, it blew my mind. I don't know what you guys think of that, but post it in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about that, because it's just unreal. It's just unreal. It's just a soulish cash grab from a studio who didn't care, from actors who don't care, and it shows in the film. They just didn't care whatsoever. They only marketed it with one trailer as well. They couldn't be bothered to put out any more trailers or marketing, and you know, the fans saw it for what it is, and 18%. That's what you get for not caring about the movie. And we don't care either. So, yeah, guys, jump in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, comments, and opinions on everything surrounding Madam Web. What did you think of this interview? What do you think of the movie in general? Is it something that you're going to go and watch, or is it something you're going to avoid? Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.